why Bret Hart has left the WWF.
This is a crazy question. Would you welcome Bret Hart back if he just said, you know, Vince, I've changed my mind. Can I come back? Would you allow him to return to the WWF? I mean, he spit in your face, notwithstanding destroying television monitors and equipment, certainly notwithstanding the fact that he punched you. Would you allow him to ever come back to the WWF if that was an option?
This is a strange business, and yes, I would. We would have to have a real frank understanding. I would want to hear Bret say, Vince, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean to be selfish. I just kind of lost it there for a while. And I have no problem saying, Bret, geez, I'm sorry that I had to do what I had to do as well. Would I welcome him back? I also would tell Bret no more free shots. I'd want that strictly from a man's standpoint. I'd want him to know that, okay? And that in the future, if we're going to have problems along those lines in a locker room or anywhere else, that, okay, we're going to have them, but no more free shots. If Bret could tear up his contract with the other guys right now and return, I'd welcome Bret back under those conditions.
Was his motivation, do you believe his motivation then primarily, he says he didn't leave here for the money.
There were signs in the arena following Survivor Series. Bret sold out. Bret seems to be sensitive to that subject, that he doesn't want to be known as someone who sold out. I'm proud of the fact that I helped Bret sell out. And that's what Bret did. He sold out. And it's not a big deal because I helped him do it. So do I think that Bret left for the money? I think that when you're making $3 million a year and you're working 125 days of that year, I think Bret sold out, and I don't blame him for selling out. I helped him sell out. As a matter of fact, you know, I would suggest there could be a long line outside the next locker room with wrestlers begging me, Vince, help me sell out. So do I think he sold out? Yeah, and I don't think that, you know, every time Bret says, no, I didn't do it for the money, I think that Bret loses credibility every time he says that.
Did this whole ugly ordeal with Bret Hart affect you more professionally, the businessman side of Vince McMahon, or the personal side of Vince McMahon?
From a business side, the WWF will go on beyond Bret Hart. From a personal side, it definitely has affected me. I think that Bret and I, you can't end a 14-year relationship like was ended without having feelings. I regret that I felt that I was forced into making the decision that I made. I regret that Bret didn't do the right thing for the business and for himself, because it wouldn't have cost him $1 less with his deal with Turner. I regret that his fans, if there is such a thing separate from WWF fans, are in any way hurt by any of this. I regret that his family is having to endure this tirade that Bret seems to be on. I regret that a member of my family, my son, had to witness some of this, especially in the locker room. I regret all of that from a personal standpoint, yet steadfast remain that I made a tough decision, but it was the right decision for the WWF fans and the WWF superstars that remain here loyal to us.
If you had the opportunity to speak with Bret, and now's not a bad opportunity, because you know he's watching. Everybody involved in this situation is watching this right now. What would you say to him now?
Probably what I said to him in the locker room. And that is that he made a mistake that I believe he'll regret from a professional standpoint. Didn't have to be made that way. I felt I had to do what I had to do for my company and our fans and our superstars that remain here. And I'm unwavering in that point of view. And perhaps Brett is unwavering in his point of view. I don't know that we'll ever get together. I hope we will one day. It's too bad that a 14-year relationship was destroyed because one member of that relationship forgot that we're in the sports entertainment business. Forgot where he came from.
When will you be over this?
I'm over it now. At the same time, Brett has been such a part of the WWF. A part of Brett will always be here in the World Wrestling Federation. And I'm going to remember the good times. I'm going to remember all the things that we did with Brett, in which he performed to the greatest degree possible and told those wonderful stories. I'm going to remember Brett as the excellence of execution. It's just too damn bad that in the end, Brett really wasn't the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And he had that opportunity to live up to that in his final match with the WWF, and he failed.